guys, it's Nurse J at Nursing the Truth, and thank you for stopping by my channel today. I just want to thank you to all my new subscribers and the ones that have been with me for a while. I'm glad that the truth is getting out there, so don't forget to tell your friends and family about me. Hit the like, share, subscribe button, and hit your notification bell to where you can see when I post a new video. Now, here recently I've been working a lot. I've got to work at the hospital tomorrow and Friday, so don't be expecting any videos. That's why I'm trying to knock them out today. I'm all alone. I have my incense and my candles burning behind me, and got all my buddies behind me, Thoth, Bastet, and Anubis. So there we go. We had to let you see Thoth, the God of wisdom, truth, and knowledge, and married to his wife Ma'at, the scales of truth and justice and righteousness. Your wonderful Libra scales in your justice system. So I wonder how justified they are. So let's get into it, friends. The Aten. You know, Akenaten, or Amenophis IV, and he changed his name from the god Amen to Aten. And all of his children, or a vast majority, like King Tut, he was born at Amarna. So, let's think about this. Why him make this major shift of the Aten? You know, from the 18th dynasty, it was all Amun, or Amen, or Atum-Ra, or Amun-Ra, or Amun. So, why the deal with this Aten? You know, it's all the same. It's just a sun. It's just a different name, for God's sake. But did you know that Akenaten was not the first person to give praise to this Aten? So, my friends, you're going to find out today that someone else worshiped the Aten. So let's dig into it, friends. Aten before and after Akenaten. You can find this information at touregypt.net. Giving it to you straight from the horse's mouth. Don't kill the messenger, people. I'm just giving you the info. So, the mythology of the Aten, everybody's like, whoa, I'm not really understanding this concept, but it was just a radiant disk. It was just the sun, and it was unique in Egyptian history, but it's kind of one of the most complex and controversial aspects of ancient Egypt. The ancient Egyptian term for the disk of the sun was Aten, which is first evidenced during the Middle Kingdom. Though, of course, the solar worship begins much earlier in Egyptian history. And it should be noted, however, that this term initially could be applied to any disk, including even the surface of a mirror or the moon. The term was used in the coffin text to denote the sun disk, but in the story of Sinuhe, dating from the Middle Kingdom, the word is used with the determinative for God in that story. So Amenemhat the First is described as soaring into the sky and uniting with Aten, his creator. Isn't that something? Aten, his creator. Different names for the different sun disks. Wow. That's like a Baptist wanting to fight a Lutheran. Praise God and the Jehovah's Witnesses. So, Amenemhat the First was the first king in the 12th dynasty. Now, Texts written during the New Kingdom's 18th dynasty frequently used the term to mean throne or place of the sun god. The word Aten was written using the hieroglyph sign for God because the Egyptians tended to personify certain expressions. Eventually, the Aten was conceived as a direct manifestation of the sun god. Well, also, the different deities was also a manifestation, right? Okay. Now, during the New Kingdom, the Aten became important. During the reigns of Tutmosis IV and Amenhotep III. Mostly so credit for the actual origin of the deity Aten must be credited to Akenaten. You see, if you get the books, Moses and Akenaten by Ahmed Osman, which is a Egyptian, was born in Cairo, lives in Britain, has written several books. And what you have to understand is Amenhotep III married his sister, but chose T as his royal queen wife, when actually that wasn't the person that sat his ass on the throne. It was his royal blood sister that got him there. But he chose her to be the royal wife. So guess what? She chose as her god, Aten. And she raised Akenaten loving the Aten, because guess what? He was born in the land of Goshen. He was born in the city of Zar, Z-A-R-W. He was raised with the Bedouins, if you want to go by the Bible. She hid him there. The Egyptians knew he wasn't of royal bloodline, and she did not want him to be killed. She hid his ass. And he only came out at age 16 to Thebes. He never was chiseled, never was painted, never was by Amenhotep III. And they did not want him to be Pharaoh. Now do you understand the Amun priesthood against the Aten priesthood? You got to understand history, friends, where this is coming from. Now, Tutmosis IV also had dealings with the Aten because his family as well. I'm thinking that either the person he married or his mother was also in that. You can also go on the internet, look up Domain of Man under the author called Charles Pope. He breaks it down very beautifully. And this Bible, like I said, was of the 18th dynasty, along with other myths and all situations and all this and that and the third. It's so mixed up, so garbled, so jumbled up. I mean, it's nothing but a ball of confusion. But if you like digging and searching and playing around like me, I'll do it all day long. But Charles Pope has a very good book, and it's online for free to kind of go looking through this. And it tells you about who Esau was and everything else. But anyway, very Egyptian book. So let's go on. Let's keep moving on with the Aten. So, as you know, Ahmose was the founder of the 18th dynasty. He kicked the Hyksos out, these bandits, these robbers That really no one knows where they came from. And almost is flattered on a stele to being like to Aten when he shines. See, the Aten's really creeping in. Tutmosis I was portrayed in his temple at Tombos in Nubia wearing the sun disk and followed by the hieroglyphic sun for God. Hatshepsut used the term on her standing obelisk in the temple of Karnak to denote the astronomical concept of the disk, though it was actually during the reign of Amenhotep II that the earliest iconography of Aten appears on a monument at Giza as a winged sun disk. Through the manifestation of Ra with outstretched arms grasping the cartouche with the pharaoh. It seems like Amenhotep III seemed to have actively encouraged the worship of Aten, stressing solar worship in many of the extensive building works. In fact, one of the king's epithets was Tajukin Aten, or radiance of Aten, a term which was used in several other contexts during his reign. You see, Queen T really ramped it up, buddy. She was something else, from what I heard. She was aggressive. She was like a warrior queen. It was all about her. She was the mother of a lot of different people. I heard also too that she had sex with her son Akenaten. There's just a lot of things about her that I'm really not sure that I really like or care to even expose, but that's to each its own. Now, during the reign of Amenhotep III, there's evidence for a priesthood of Aten at Heliopolis. Now remember, Heliopolis is a city of On, or the city of On, that's in the Bible, quote unquote, where Joseph was married to a high priest's daughter called Asenath. And they get married and have kids, Ephraim and Manasseh. See this web? So they're Egyptian children. Half Egyptians. So, why are you going to kill your brothers or cousins, 12 tribes? You don't make sense. Anywho. And so the Aten at Heliopolis, which was the traditional center for the worship of the sun god Ra, and he also incorporated references to the Aten in the names he gave to his palace at Makata, known as the Splendor of Aten. Yes, he even made a palace to Queen T in the land of Goshen, in the Nile Delta. And then actually when Ramses and them made their headquarters at the Nile Delta at Tanis or Avaris, they built on top of that. So you can see ruins from Ramses or Python, and then under that you have where Queen T's palace was from Amenhotep III. He also had a boat dedicated to her called Aten Glitters. So when he would leave from Thebes to go to the Nile Delta, him and her would be on this boat called the Aten Glitters. So things were starting to get pissy in his reign already. People were starting to be offended because they were always worshipped Amun. I mean, that's kind of like, if you've always been a Democrat, I'm not in politics anymore, but if you were a Democrat or Republican or a Libertarian, and then someone says to you, to a Democrat or a Republican, you're going to vote this way, my friends. And you're going to. And you're going to. What you going to do when you've been voting a certain way all your life? What are you going to tell them? To piss off. So that's kind of how these priesthoods were saying. Oh, you're going to shove the Aten down our throats, the Aten down our throats. That's not who we've been worshiping. Why are you making us worship this? Blah, 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 blah. And so therefore you had the intermingling and the intermingling of the wars of the priesthood. Now, prior to Akenaten, the sun disk could be a symbol in which major gods appear, and so we find such phrases as Atum, who is in his disk, the Aten. However, from there, it is a small leap for the disk itself to become a god. Akenaten, who was first initiated in the appearance of the true god, Aten, by formulating a dialectic name for him. Hence, in the early years of his reign, the sun god Ra-Har-Kuti, traditionally depicted with the hawk's head, became identical to Aten, who was now worshipped as a god rather than an object associated with the sun god. Okay, so this is Ra-Har-Kuti. This is what Akenaten, and when I got this, I bought this in Egypt, and I'm so upset because he has his little staff here that goes through the hole in his hand. But anyway, I don't know if it fell out during transport or what, but anyway, ticked off about it. But anyway, so this is Ra-Har-Kuti, and he was Akhenaten's initial god, form of a man and a head of a hawk. Okay, like Horus. Okay. Now, but then it became a situation. He dropped the image that you could see into something you couldn't see. But what you don't understand is the ancient Egyptians already said that Amun is something you can't see, but it's just a creative force that is in all of us. But who am I? Now, Amenhotep may have maybe have thought about Aten to his own father, Amenhotep III. Others have suggested that rather than true monotheism, the cult of Aten was a form of henotheism in which one god was effectively elevated above many others, though this certainly does not seem to be the case during the later Marna period. And that's true. It wasn't henotheism. Akenaten constructed an enormous temple east of the great temple of Amun at Karnak during his 30th reign. Let's see, which I never got to see that. I wish I would have seen that. I would love to take pictures of that, but no one showed me that. I don't know. I didn't told you about this Ramose stuff. Moses was very popular in the 18th dynasty. The Tutmosis, viziers and people. Now, there could have been two Moses in this Bible story, along with Akhenaten Moses. But it says that perhaps nowhere is the artistic style more evident than in the tomb Amenhotep IV, which is Akhenaten's vizier. Do you know the vizier is a second in charge? Just like the vice president. Okay, so you had King Tut when he was the pharaoh, but he was too young to rule. So the vizier I was second in charge. I was related to him, okay, through the marriages of Yuya and Tuya, which had I and T and his brother Anan, which was Aaron in the Bible. So now you have a situation where you had this vizier, Ramose. Okay, so second in charge. He's right behind Akenaten, people. And it says Ramoses, most of the tomb's decoration consists of fine, low reliefs carved during the last years of Amenhotep III's reign in a congenital Theban style. But on the rear wall of the pillared tomb is a mixture of traditional designs and the startling developments in art made by Akenaten. This new artistic style was to usher in Egypt considerable religious upheaval. Okay, so it shows all of these things of him being in the lifestyle of people what we do today. Um, so then he left from Thebes to go to Elmarna. And let's see. Outside of Akenaten, there appears to have also been temples dedicated to Aten at Memphis, Nubia, and perhaps elsewhere during Akhenaten's reign. Around the time Akhenaten was founded, he changed his own rule to reflect Aten's reign. Akhenaten moved to his new capital. Their accommodations were made for the burial of I don't know what this word is, which was a sacred bull of Ra. Furthermore, the king's last two daughters were named Neferu, and Septipon Ra, both incorporating Ra into their names. Okay, he says that there is no God but Aten. Okay, so he's totally stripping every God name or manifestation of the creative force. Ra, Harakudi, Atum, Ra, Amen, Ra, Amen. Okay, so you get the gist of it. So there is no God but Aten. That's a problem. When you had every different belief, and Akenaten is his prophet. Akenaten is his prophet? Prophet? Do you know where the word prophet comes from? Prophet is an ancient Middle Eastern thing. You had prophets for Zoroastrianism, but that was later down the line. You had prophets, I'm sure, in Samaria. So Samaria civilization was kaput. So you had Assyrian and Babylon and Acadia. But we're talking about Egypt. We're just talking about Egypt right now. Prophets. He just said, Akenaten said, Akenaten is his prophet. Does this ring a bell? Who is Moses? Moses was a prophet. And even all of the Jews and Muslims say that Moses was a wonderful prophet, just as Jesus was a prophet. I, the vizier of King Tut, succeeded him after he died, and scholars have noted a similar hymn in the Bible, Psalm 104. It's talking about God. Now we're thinking in our head this God, this human with this beard. He's on a throne. He's got a staff. He's zapping lightning bolts. He's dropping down hailstones. He's raining frogs and sending locusts and, all this kind of jive. But there's parallels to what Aten writes. That's what's in the Bible. So like I said, you hop, skip, and jump with your different stuff, and you leave, and you intermix. Why would Psalms 104 from Akenaten be in the Bible? Why? Is it because they've had this for a long time, or they found these poems from Egypt. Did the people from Egypt, when they left, did they carry these things with them? Who knows? It says that Aten was the creator and preserver of the world, and within there were no allusions to traditional concepts. No longer at night and death, the realm of gods as Osiris. You're going to like this. The hymn abounds with descriptions of nature and with the position of the king in the new religion. Irregardless of the existence of a priesthood devoted to Aten, only to Akenaten had the god revealed itself. So listen, only to Akenaten had the god revealed itself, and only the king could know the demands and commandments of Aten. Okay, I gotta get a drink. This is just some tea, folks. Okay, let's think about this for a second. Only to Akenaten had the god revealed itself, and only the king could know the demands and commandments of Aten. A god who remained distant, incomprehensible to the general populace. What does that sound like? It sounds like Moses in the Bible had to go stay away for 40 days and get the instructions and the commandments from this God to give to the general populace. Right? Trickles down. He gets pissed off. They haven't seen his ass for 40 days. Where the hell you been? And they got the Apis bull, the gold calf. These were Egyptians, people, worshiping the Apis bull because they were tired of his dumb ass. Sorry. It says, in fact, the priesthood may not have served so much to Aten as they did to Akenaten. The high priest of the Aten was actually called the priest of Akenaten. So they worshipped Akenaten. Was he a sick-ass person? Was he have the super ego? Indicating not only the elevated position of the king and his theology, but also the effective barrier that he formed between even his priest and the god Aten. Let's see what else is interesting to this. Okay, almost done, folks. So he ordered all of the temples to be closed down to all other gods. The temples were closed. The gods were distinguished. Literally, armies of stonemasons were sent out all over the land and even to Nubia, above all else, to hack away the image and the name of the god Amun. This is a Hitlerized thing, kids. Good God, this wasn't a independent democracy or republic. This was Hitlerism, Nazism, socialism at its finest. You know, when I went to the Egyptian Museum in Cairo, and I went to his area of his stuff, the Amarna period, I didn't even look at his dumbass. Because when you are in the truth movement and you see these Abrahamic religion things and you know who started it, and you see how it trickles down, I was so disgusted. Because the Muslims don't even understand who started this and who did what. But now, if you go look into the Discovery Channel, like getting your computers or whatever, go to the Discovery Channel on Mummies Unwrapped. The new Egyptologist, not Zawi Hawass, but Rami, he did a 45-minute video about, could the biblical Moses be Akenaten? And I went crazy. He goes and does detailed studies and finds other Egyptologists that talk about this. And I'm like, this is going to blow the freaking lid off of everything. Everything. He said, even in the video, will this rewrite what we know of the Bible today? This would be the total game changer on this BS. God didn't tell you nothing. Let me get to my pictures right quick. Let me see what I can find here. I want to show you where I was standing by my King Tut. And let's see. I think I went like the next day, I do believe. Let's see here. All right, guys, let me get it. Let's see here. Just bear with me, please. Went to a lot of places, friends. Trying to get to it, friends. Just bear with me. I took over 1,000 pictures when I was there. So, guys, just bear with me. Oh, here we go. My beloved King Tut. Where are you, my beloved? Okay, so this... Let's see if I can get it. This is King Tut, friends. That's his team. Okay, and this is how they found it whenever, that's his sarcophagi in his team, guys. That's me and my daughter behind King Tut. So, tell me what you think about it, guys. You got to know your history. And we've got to make a new one. So until then, Hotep and Ashe, and I love all of my brothers and sisters. Love all my friends. Tell your family and friends about me, and don't forget, comment, like, share, subscribe, hit your button. We'll see you next time. Hope you really enjoyed this. Goodbye.